Hello, everybody. Today we're going to talk about how to find the equation of a line without the graph. So you've been practicing with the graph, finding the equation. And with all those examples, the y-intercept was easy to figure out. Well, that's not always going to be the case. And that's the point of today's lesson. And then you'll have additional practice tomorrow on the same thing. So as a warm-up, let's calculate the slope of the line passing through these 2 points. You can pause the video, give it a try, and then check your answer. So the slope formula is m equals the change in y over the change in x. Remember, that's the same thing as the rise over the run, the change in the vertical direction over the change in the horizontal. And we have x1, y1, x2, y2. So -3 minus -1 over 2 minus -4. And that will give you, so that's -3 plus 1 is -2. 2 plus 4 is 6. And then we simplify it to -1/3 equals m. Okay, so here's the investigation. There's a copy on Google Classroom. If you don't have a printer, you could just take notes on a separate sheet of paper, but it's easier if you're able to print this. So this says, given the graph, write the equation of the line. So this is what we had practiced already. And in this particular case, the y-intercept is easy to spot. So b will be 5. And then the slope, you can just pick any two of those points, find the change in the y over the change in the x. So the slope is -2/3. You could also use the slope formula and actually do that out, which I'll show here, 1 minus 3 over 6 minus 3, which is -2/3. So either way, so the equation will be -2/3 x plus 5. Now, what if this was, I don't know, data from something, temperature data, and we didn't see the 0, 5, and all you saw was the 3, 3, and the 6, 1. So now I'm going to walk you through the steps to finding the equation if you didn't see the y-intercept there, okay? So now we're going to learn another way to find the equation if you do not know the y-intercept. Using 3, 3, and 6, 1, calculate the slope. Oh, that's what we just did here. So you can copy that in this spot, and you will get -2/3. Plug your answer from number 2 in place of m in y equals mx plus b. So that's a partial linear equation, right? Now we just need the constant term, the b. So plug in 6 for x and 1 for y. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this ordered pair, 6, 1, and I'm putting the 6 in place of the x, and then 1 in for the y. So -2/3 times 6. So multiplying fractions, oh, we got to bring all that stuff back. You could also use calculator if you prefer. But without the calculator, this will be -12/3. And what's -12 divided by 3? Oh, -4. So then add the 4 to both sides. B equals 5. So there's the y-intercept. So it's a little bit of extra work. But like I said, it's not always going to be obvious what the y-intercept is. So now you have to remember to go back, rewrite the equation in slope-intercept form. We're going to do lots of examples of these because they could be kind of tricky. So now I'm going to show you that you could pick any of these ordered pairs in this last step, and it will still work. So we're going to do the same problem. Same thing, the slope is still -2/3, right? But now let's choose the point 3, 3 to place in terms of x and y. So we have y equals negative 2/3 x plus b. So this will work if you pick any point. So let's pick the 3, 3. 3 is y and x. So there it is, 3 over 1. Multiply the fractions across, negative 6 over 3. If you like to cancel early, you can. Simplify early. Get the b by itself, just like solving an equation. B becomes 5 again. So it works. You could pick either point. So therefore, you can pick any point on the line to get the equation. All right, let's keep going. So here's an example of a graph. And it says estimate the slope and y-intercept. Well, why does it say estimate? Because look, it's hard to see what exactly the y-intercept is. So an estimate might be negative 1.2 or something. I don't know. That's all. So that's the y-intercept approximate. And then the slope, well, let's see. We could pick two easy points to find the slope. There we go. So it's up 1 and to the right 3. So the slope is exact here. So now let's use the ordered pairs. So 1, -1 is here. 4, 0 is here. So let's find the slope using, so no picture whatsoever. So we have 0 minus -1 over 4 minus 1, right? x1, y1, x2, y2. So that gives you 1 over 3, just like we said. So we did that. All right, now, using the same steps as before, start with mx plus b, plug in the 1/3 for the m. Now pick either of the ordered pairs. I'm going to pick 4, 0. Because I like working with 0, but you could do both even, and you should get the same answer for both. So on a test, you could try both. So now we're going to put the 4 in for x and the 0 in for y. So 0 equals 1/3 times 4 plus b. Multiply across, leave it in fraction form, or on a test, you could use repeating decimal form on IXL and Delta Math tomorrow. You're going to have to use fraction form. So take your time. Not all of them will have fraction answers. So then you get b equals negative 4/3, right? 0 minus 4/3 is negative 4/3, which is negative 1 1/3. You could write it either way. I don't know why I put approximately. It's exactly negative 1 1/3. Now look at your picture. Does that make sense? Oh yeah, we guessed negative 1.2. We got negative 1.333 repeating. So that's good, but we're not done. The directions say to write the equation. Rewrite it in slope-intercept form. So it's y equals, m is the slope, 1/3, x minus 4/3. And there you go. Okay, here's another example. No picture this time. So let's just go through the steps. Slope first. So x1, y1, x2, y2. You don't have to write those, but if you're continually getting them wrong, that could be a reason that you're mixing up the x and the y. So then we have 6 minus -3, which is 6 plus 3, over -1 minus -5. So plus 5. So that's 9 over 4 equals m. Now, substitute that in for the m. So we know the slope part, so it's a partial equation. Now, plug in either of the ordered pairs. Doesn't matter, I'm going to pick the negative 1, 6. Again, it does not matter which. So y is 6, x is 1. So 9/4 plus b. So then subtract the 9/4. Okay, and these are a little harder than a lot of them that you're going to see. So you get the b by itself. I know you love those fractions. So now you have 6 minus 9/4. I'm just going to continue down here. So 6 over 1 minus 9 over 4. We have to get a common denominator, right? So 6 is how many fourths? Times 4, 24. So 24 fourths minus 9 fourths is 15 fourths equals b. So go back and rewrite the equation. Y equals 9/4 x plus 15 fourths, which is about, what is it, 3.75. Okay. Now, I can't do this because I'm on my iPad here, but you can go ahead and open Desmos.com, graph, you type right into the Desmos, y equals 9/4 x plus 15 fourths, and then you can see if it passes through these two ordered pairs. And another way to check is actually plug in for x and y, and if it makes a true statement, it'll work. Okay, so here's your answer. So steps to follow. So this is just in summary, and then we'll do one more practice problem before I let you go practice on IXL. So first thing you do is use the slope formula to find the slope, which is what we were doing. And this is good to put in your notes or a note card. So when you're doing your practice or your test, you have these steps that you can follow. Plug the answer in place of m in y equals mx plus b. Then pick either of the ordered pairs. Sometimes one is easier than the other, but it really doesn't matter. Remember, an ordered pair is x comma y. Simplify and solve for b. And then the step that people forget is to go back and plug it back into the equation. So following those steps, let's do this last problem. And this is taken right from IXL, one of the higher levels in your IXL assignment. You are going to figure out the equation in slope-intercept form. You can pause, try it, then check. Please do that. That's important. All right, so the slope will be y2. Here, let me label everything. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that's -6 over -5. And remember, that could be just listed as 6 over 5 or 1.2. Now, plug that into y equals mx plus b. That's the general form, slope-intercept form. So 6/5 x plus b. Now pick either point. Doesn't matter. Let's pick 5, 4. So the 5 would be the x. It's easy to get that mixed up, so take your time. And the 4 is the y. 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 1 is 5. 30 divided by 5 is 6. That simplifies to 6. Get the b alone. Solve the equation. -2 equals b. So now go and rewrite. This is important. 6/5 x plus -2 or -2. And then that's what you would type in the box for IXL. So this can be a tricky section. So you have 2 days to work on 2 days on this topic. So you have an IXL due tonight, and then you will have another video with some practice tomorrow. and you will go on to Delta Math for tomorrow's assignment. And as always, you can email your teacher or take advantage of the extra help time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.